Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. I'm wondering if it's like, if I take it.
Is it on right now?
Yeah. Is it on your phone playing through? Is that what that's playing through right now?
On mine?
No.
What's that playing through?
Yeah. Is it showing up on probably the computer? Facebook to show that.
Oh, because it's on here, like.
Hello, nerd.
Yeah, no, I took it off. You're on there though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it's not popping up.
On yours?
Yeah, it's not showing. But let me see now if there's like a delay.
It might be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not showing up on here.
Hold on just a second. Let me see something real quick. Maybe if I go, because it's not showing up on mine either. Yeah, it is. Now it is. But it's because it's still locked. Look, I got it as only me.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? I'm going to turn it on, though.
How come it was locked again?
I don't know. I'm going to put friends. You ready?
It doesn't let you do the public? Public so everybody can see it, regardless. Oh, I think it's because that's in the way.
Right there. You ready to hit it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like kind of delayed, though, right? You see that? The movement and stuff?
I mean, there's probably going to be a little bit of a delay.
Yeah. All right. I changed it. Tell me if you can see it.
Okay.
I just want to get that.
Ah, yeah. Perfect.
Found it, man.
Cool.
You found it.
Give me. All right, cool.
He said, all right, cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that way I can't, because if I click on it and listen to it, then that'll go away.
Well, we're good now. Problem.
Ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready.
What's up, Facebook? We've been trying something out, so we're about to record Tommy's episode on the JAY-WALKING podcast, and it's been a long day in terms of trying to set everything up. Like our point was to get the microphones set up so that you can hear what comes out of our mouth versus like the echo. Like if we were to put the audio on the computer, we found out that it sounded pretty shitty. So I hope that you can hear the audio that's coming from me talking directly into the mic and when Tommy talks into the mic. So
I guess we'll find out.
If someone's listening, go ahead and talk and so make sure they can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? If not, please comment below.
There's no one watching, so.
Fair enough. That's even better.
But are you sure it's live?
I mean, I could see it on my phone.
It is. I see a couple of people.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any comments, but hey, if someone's watching this, comment real quick for me on the bottom and tell me if you can hear my voice. And it's like it would sound like it's coming through a microphone. So if you were to actually like listen to the podcast, that type of audio we're trying to get to come through on your end if you're watching Facebook Live.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be, nice.
Yeah.
To let us know.
If it works, it worked. I've literally been sitting in here for 2 hours, over 2 hours with Tommy, trying to figure out how to do the audio and the video on it. So I'm stumped. But if you're listening, click or tell me. I don't know how do you know how the comments work?
I mean,
I have no idea how this works.
So if I was to click on the video itself, probably hear us back. I'll turn down my volume.
Yeah.
2 people watching. It could be just us as the 2 people, to be honest with you.
Well, you're one of them for sure.
Yeah. So, yep. So that's a thing. So
I wonder if I go to, let's see. Yeah, I see you on here.
So, yeah. Whoever the additional people are, if you could comment on here and let us know how the audio quality sounds,
yeah,
that would be greatly
That'd
appreciated.
be great. Where's Greg Kimura at? Greg, are you listening? Are you watching this anymore? Before we go into this podcast, we need to know if the sound is all right.
Hey, Vinny, let me know how the audio quality sounds, if you can hear me okay, if it sounds all right. Let me know what it sounds like.
If you're watching Facebook
I wish I could turn that volume off.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Bring them on camera. Oh, yeah, I guess you could add that.
I mean, that sounds pretty good. I think off the playback.
Hey, Kendall, check this out. Listen, comment on the comments real quick and tell me what the audio sounds like.
What up, Skinhead? My dude.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Vinny. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. What's up, Vinny, man? How you doing, bro? You in Syracuse? Vinny in Syracuse?
Vinny's in Florida. Vinny's like a brother to me. Family grew up with him two doors down. Him and both of his brothers they're like family to me. Grew up in the same neighborhood.
Nice.
Yeah, good dude.
So, good guy. You are a good guy, man. You saved a podcast for the day. So, if you're watching, we're about to directly go into the podcast. It might sound a little bit funny because we're going to record from the very beginning. That way the audio doesn't get messed up. We'll get into my boy Tommy's story. We'll talk about him. The show's all about you today, dude. So, we're literally, it's like you're still on still.
Please no.
And horseshoe one chair, man, in the front. I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong.
Oh, boy.
All right, so we're about to start this. So if it does sound a little funny or quirky, it's because we're about to actually run the actual podcast simultaneously with the Facebook Live. So if you're listening, man, you got any questions, keep commenting. Don't be. I know Kendall's on here. What did he say? Kendall, spit that fire. Hey, Kendall, how does the audio sound? I guess Vinny. It's Vinny.
Yeah.
Vinny said it's good, so.
Cool.
Maybe that'll work too.
I trust Vinny. So
yeah. What I do think is going to happen is as we're talking and we start recording this podcast, something's going to go wrong. It always does in life. But like the camera's going to turn off, and if it does, hey, we're just going to keep rolling because at that point we're trying to actually get the audio confirmed for the.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to be the lab rat. Whatever. My mother used to say, Tommy, if you didn't have bad luck, you'd have none at all. So.
That sounds so Irish. If I ever heard anything, right?
She is. So she says it with her little accent too. She can obviously say it better than me. Sounds better when she says it, but yeah. I think there's some truth to that.
All right, you ready to turn this thing on?
Yes, sir. Chris, love you, bub.
All right, let's see if we can turn this thing on and start recording properly. So I'm gonna warn you. Like I said, this is gonna sound funny. But I'm going to record. I'll tell you when we're recording live. And then I'll just go into, hey, what's up? This is the episode. Pop it up. And, of course, good. You guys will catch on after that point, kind of what the podcast sounds like. I feel like this is the very first time we've done this and had this orchestrated. So maybe next time we'll have it'll more scripted to it. But it's kind of fun regardless. Yeah. It's a lot of work. But here we go. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
We got to make sure and, of course, everything's streaming live with the only thing else that could badly happen, right, is if we're recording and when we start recording, we get 30 minutes in and say your vocals weren't on. Man. Well, it's a shot to the heart.
They're saying it right here that it sounds good. Yeah. So, I mean,
we're running it. That sounds good, but on the most important part is if it records through the software that we actually put the podcast through iTunes and stuff for.
Yeah, let's not attract that negativity.
You're right. Yeah, you're right about that. Let's do it. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Make sure I can actually click the buttons that I need to click. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 7 of the Jay-Walking Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Spitzer, and my famous saying is as always, we got a good one for you today, and we do. This is actually my third guy that I'm bringing on from the Syracuse area. Man, there's a lot of drug addicts in Syracuse.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, we have Syracuse basketball, the mall.
The 2-3 zone.
Yeah, and heroin. So,
heroin and fentanyl.
The big three.
Yeah. And that makes up Syracuse, population 160,000 with the D voice. But Tommy DeSocio is here. What's up, Tommy? How you been, man?
Good, JT. How you doing?
Good. Me and Tommy work together in treatment. And Tommy, dude, I've had a really cool experience with Tommy, and he was bossing me around at one point, holding strong accountability, of course. And then I ended up we work together, and it's great. We used to have Sundays together?
Yes.
Typically, we worked Sundays together, and man, we spruced things up quite a bit. I'm sure Corey might be tuning into this. Maybe it's actually a little bit too far now after the point, so he's probably turned it off at this point already. And I hope he has if he's listening. But Corey, we definitely played music on Sunday mornings. Okay, but there's nothing better than a bunch of guys that get together and sing a little Fergie or something together, or
Absolutely.
Whatever is going on that morning.
Absolutely.
It was unity.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the right unity, but it was unity. But I loved working with you, man, and I don't mean like throwing us under the bus at all. But we're not a glum lot, right? We have a
Absolutely
good time.
not.
So Tommy's from Syracuse, New York, and his story, actually, we want to go ahead and let you know that the good people who run Road to Recovery, Tommy is part of that process to getting down to Austin, Texas, and Darlene Indy and her husband Tim, correct?
Correct.
Are the people who pretty much head that organization, and it's like a nonprofit organization that helps people who struggle with addiction to find treatment and treatment options and placement, and you're part of that. So I just wanted to go ahead and give them like a complete shout out as well. There'll be a point if you're listening to Facebook on the Facebook Live that you'll see their what is it, their web address.
Yeah, it's going to be the web address. Also, I'll mention the Facebook page. They can be contacted in multiple ways, and that information will be available.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pop that up there for them real quick. So if you're listening, roadtorecovery.com, that should be on the bottom of your screen. You can click there and get more information about Darlene, Indy, and Timothy's and the Road to Recovery process, correct?
Correct. Also, if you'd like to use Facebook, if you just search Road, 2 Recovery, CNY, there'll be a page to pop up. Feel to like the page for updates and ways you can contribute. So.
Nice. And so I'm going to go ahead and pop up too. Remember, you can follow us at you can follow us on Instagram. The email that I just popped up there is jaywalkerpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or anything that you would like to discuss, you can always send us your messages there. You can follow us on Instagram. It's going to pop up on the page now. Jaywalking the podcast. That's our Instagram page. You can check that out as well. And then, of course, Road to Recovery. CNY.com is on there. Is that your phone going on?
I don't think so. I think that's yours because mine is on. Let me double check.
Yeah, I said that too, but then I had to click the down to this.
I'm silent
on the side.
Yeah, I was silent.
Okay, gotcha.
So
all right, so the two are on the bottom. Road to Recovery CY.com. Shout out to Darlene and Tim again, and we'll get into more about their program and how you got here, of course. But from Syracuse, did you grow up in Syracuse, New York?
Yeah, I was born in St. Joseph's Hospital in Syracuse. Spent pretty much the first 23 years of my life there.
Yeah. Gee, that was. Where did you go? What was the in-between time?
So I spent about a year in Delaware, which is super random.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like just something I see on a quarter.
Yeah, I mean, when I moved there, I was like, what is in Delaware?
Yeah.
And they got pretty good sandwiches, and it's close to Philadelphia, which I then moved to Philadelphia.
You did go to Philly?
Yes.
How was Philly?
That was like the start of my me really plummeting into the ground was Philadelphia.
And then after Philly, did you end up coming back home and then to Austin?
Yeah, I probably spent, when I came home from Philadelphia, I was ripping and running for another year on and off. I probably 6 months after I moved home, I entered my first treatment, and that was my first exposure to trying to get well.
And did they how was your experience with the first treatment? What was that like for you? I mean,
so I was ready. My family was never pushing it on me you need to go do this. I hit it pretty well up until the last few months. It just got to a point where I was so miserable and I was begging for help. But when I got the help, I still had reservations about, missing the old times, like going to the bar and drinking and I only thought the drug was the issue. Come find out later on that I'm a whack job and I have a lot more going on than just drugs. So
actually crazy.
Yeah. But it was good to get the initial exposure and it got me in the rooms. So
I remember I was thinking about my first treatment experience, and man, it was based off of just complete fear anyway. So if you followed my story, I went to treatment. I needed the help, but it was really the push of I got arrested for fraud of controlled substance and all that, and that's what pushed me to and then I didn't learn anything and soak up. I was seriously scared to death.
Yeah.
2 weeks out, I'm finding pills again, and then that was before I had got into heroin use. But yeah, man. So how many treatment centers did you end up going to total?
So the last one in Austin was my third. However, the one before that was just to buy time to get to Austin. So,
yeah. Oh, okay. It was okay. So you were waiting kind of on that process.
Yes.
And aren't you glad you found Austin, man?
Oh man, it's a blessing how I even ended up down here. It's I still have to pinch myself sometimes.
How it worked.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into that. How about once you get on? So I mean, like I tell everybody, man, I want to know about Tommy as a child. People listening and who know Tommy, man, I said this about Ronnie too, but you're a character, man. truly like cartoonish, like just always finding like the light side of things, putting smiles on people's faces. It's fun to be around because me and you are similar in terms of we like to joke and jack with people. If there's a joke to be played or a prank, it's definitely coming out.
Absolutely.
And it's like, man, well, we do it over and over again. Who's wrong? I mean, are you wrong for keep falling for it or what? But like around you is always something up your sleeve, and I like that because I get down with that. But that's just kind of that sums up Tommy, and he's full of joy, and you'll see that going through his story. And if you know him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm just interested to know what little Tommy was like, and follow me through that process and what it was like, and when you understood that internal condition was kind of jacked up, and what drug use looked like to you. And yeah, we'll just keep going from there, man.
All right. Well, I'll start from scratch. Was born March 8th, 1991 in Syracuse, New York. Two loving parents. My mother is an immigrant from Ireland. Her father was one of us. He died from this disease. She had 13 siblings. So when my grandfather died, my mother was forced to go live in a group home. And there was also war going on between England and Ireland. And her sister was already here. So she came here. And my father is a Syracuse native, so he knew my aunt. And, that's kind of a little precursor. Early on, my parents wanted to get my older siblings out of Syracuse and into the suburbs, so they moved out there. Pretty normal childhood. The only thing I could say is, my parents worked really hard, which means, my older brother and sister kind of looked after me a lot growing up. But I had, a neighborhood full of friends, a lot of them who I'm, still friends with to this day, call in and check up on. But I was a weird little kid, man. I was super weird. I would watch Tommy Boy on repeat at 5, 6 years old. And
Tommy Boy's funny though, but yeah, that is for 5 or 6 years old.
Like Billy Madison and Tommy Boy, bink.
Those are your movies.
Yes. But I could also watch Barney, so it was I was pretty weird.
You had 1 foot and everything.
Yeah. I was out there. I really like slasher movies too. I was obsessed with Scream.
Dude, I did too.
Yeah.
Scream, Halloween.
Yes.
I knew all about Jason Voorhees, and for real though, I was very interested in that at a very young age. Yeah. It's funny you say that, so I relate.
Yeah. So I really like that. I think I was the Scream guy 5 years in a row for Halloween.
Did you ever get the one where you pushed the button and it had
the blood comes? Yeah, the little heartbeat.
Yeah. Boy, you thought I was a badass.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, even before you keep going, I broke my leg one time on Halloween, and dude, my mom was such a fun-loving person, dude. She was friends with all the neighborhood kids, and all my friends loved to be around my mother. I broke my leg, so I'm in a wheelchair. She puts the Scream mask, the costume on me, sticks me on the front porch of my wheelchair with the bag of candy as she took my friends trick-or-treating.
Jeez,
right? What?
Yeah.
I mean, why I bring that up is because that was my last experience with the Scream mask, with the blood coming out.
Yeah. So. The last year, we had a really sick butcher knife at the house, a real one. And I tried asking my mom if I could use that. She wasn't too keen on a 9-year-old carrying around a real butcher knife. So that kind of put a damper on it. Switched it up the next year. Yeah. And, we moved from there.
Oh, no, Tommy Boy, did your mom call you Tommy Boy, or is it Tom? What did she call you? All kinds of different.
She'd call me Tommy, but when she said Thomas Nicholas, I knew I was in for it. Yeah. First name, middle name. I didn't want to hear that.
Wow. So what about is it true the Irish, the redheaded type, they get more angry? Is there, do they get fired up? It's oh, I got this, I'm very sweet, but you piss me off, and
yeah, my mother is
Tom and Nicholas.
Yeah, she's the sweetest woman in the world. I love my mother to pieces, but yeah, I mean, if she can turn up when she needs to, but yeah, she's got a little fire in her, but she's the sweetest woman in the world.
Cool. Yeah, and I've heard that from several people who've met your mother. So yeah, that's awesome.
She's great.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. So we continue on. Sorry, I'll be interrupted.
It's okay. I enjoyed the chit chat, but yeah, like I said, friends were a major part of my life because all of our parents were working a lot, so we spent a lot of time hanging out with each other. Playing Pop Warner football, basketball. We'd go and build forts, and I think we were the last generation of the kids experiencing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But early on, it got polluted really quick. So with more kids, I have older siblings, and some of my friends had older siblings that were friends also. So I started drinking at a very early age. I think I started drinking in the 4th grade. I was about 10 years old.
With who?
A buddy from back home. His name's
Y'all
Aaron.
just found some alcohol and were like, hey, man.
Well, no, like my older brother and his older brother were friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go stay the weekend there, and we want to be part of, because there's 16-year-old. I'm 10, so there's older girls.
You were balling, man. You were trying to. I get it.
I thought I was.
Yeah,
I thought I was, and it was fun. But I was like really attracted to that at an early age, and like, I really like loved. Like the hip hop culture, and like I'd see these videos with like Jay-Z on the boat. You know what I mean? I really early age was like, yeah, this is how I want to live.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, drinking was pretty regular early on. Started smoking weed at like 12, and that was fine. School, I've never really been that good. But yeah, so pretty normal kid. I'm still like playing football and going to school and basketball and.
You're big into sports. Were you big into sports as a child early? Here's my question before you get a little bit further from disconnected from your childhood and get on your stories. Was there any type of trauma in your life as a child that you think you could look back and had some type of effect? Doesn't make you a drug addict, not going there, but I'm saying there are things and instances in life that happen that either make us take a route left or right, or approach something different, or maybe like pushes us a little bit further in our like cognitive development, anything like that.
So I mean, like there was things that I would like push blame. Like I'd push blame on my older brother and sister about like when they babysit me, the stuff they did and stuff. But like I realized I use that as a crutch. It's just like something to blame. But I will say I was way overexposed as a youth. Like I saw a lot of things like before I turned 14 that were like, okay, it was like as far as like drugs go. My friend's brother who, we'd party with had to like call the ambulance to save him from alcohol poisoning when I was like 13. So like, and I didn't realize like that it was super abnormal because I thought it was just part of the thing. But looking back on it now, it's like, it was pretty shot, but I don't think that's like anything I have to go to therapy for.
Right. Yeah.
It was pretty normal, as you'll see throughout my story. So,
cool. Okay.
Yeah. So, so I didn't really start developing like an issue until later on, but there was some consequences that happened early. So, my first consequence that happened that wasn't even necessarily drug related was in 9th grade. This girl who I thought was my girlfriend ended up sleeping with my friend, and I set him up, and I ambushed him and beat him down.
Jumped him.
No,
it was just you.
No, it was just me.
Oh, okay.
No.
I thought I was man, my mind went to a different movie on that one.
Yeah, no. I had a friend call him to say we were playing basketball at the park, and I ambushed him with a snow brush, and I put a little licking on him, and he ended up calling the cops. Yeah, I know. I'm like 5'5", but yeah. I'm like super mad, and he ended up pressing charges on me, and
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so I was facing an assault with a deadly weapon charge when I was 15. I couldn't hang in the Justice Center.
No, I agree.
No. But
they love them some Tommy.
I was a little dude too, man. Yeah. I was like, I wouldn't but I got a YO and had to do community service with a school janitor all summer, which was kind of weird. He was a pretty weird dude.
So that was your first like consequence, right? I mean, in terms of
just like
so it's 15.
It's my behavior. It's like, my internal condition, like which I'll figure out later on, but it's like, I'm not right because I obviously, when I make decisions, stupid stuff happens.
Right,
so,
right.
Hindsight 2020, that was probably the first one. But, so progress on into high school, I'm still playing football. I stopped playing basketball. Smoking weed became more prevalent. It was a daily thing. Harder drugs came around here and there. I tried cocaine, I think, when I was 16. It's not like I was doing it regularly, but excuse me. But like psychedelics, I really loved ecstasy, and I was like a weekend warrior.
Mm-hmm.
I was barely passing school, and come to my senior year, I knew I wasn't going to a good college because I think I graduated with like a 70 average. I was last in my class. I was 80 out of 80.
You were the 80th.
I was the 80th.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's like the resource people ahead of me and, not knocking
the
down,
gifted and talented. Oh no, you're saying the people behind. Okay, I get you.
Yeah, I was dead last in my class, which like kind of hit my ego. I was like, damn, am I really stupid? But I didn't.
You probably didn't apply yourself very much, did you?
No, I was more distracted with like.
I can only imagine how it was like to go through high school or something with you in class.
Yeah,
it was a good time. I'm sure if I asked anybody back, hey, who was in school with Tommy DeSocio?
Yeah.
Was his class clown stage character?
I won class clown. Like in my senior yearbook, you'll see like in the superlatives, Tommy DeSocio class clown.
It checks out.
Yeah, they made me wear the wig and the nose and shit.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So
okay, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's still me to this day, but I just try to hide it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I really, like my love of sports was still there, and I wanted to like pursue a career in radio. And
really,
yeah,
interesting.
I still kind of, I
like broadcasting radio, so like sports broadcasting.
Yeah, like I was involved with the OCC, which is Onondaga Community College. I would announce the basketball games for the school radio.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
I did a little broadcasting myself.
Yeah,
when I was 18 for about 3 or 4 years. I did it for back home. We went to a bunch of different high schools. It was like the game of the week.
Yeah.
And so I have experience with that. I did like analyst, and then I've done like the color part, and then I've done the play-by-play a little bit. And dude, it was fun. I had a heck of a time.
It was. I really liked color because I didn't like, don't dribble. I like giving my 2 cents.
Yeah.
And I still like to do that.
Like, so you're like away from the production side of it. It's like, we got to come on at this time and get these commercials, right? Yeah. You want to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I still like to talk.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so the first semester went really well. I think I had like slightly under a 3, so not like really well, but like I was enjoying it. But being my nature in the third semester, ending my sophomore year, I really procrastinated making my schedule. And I was up there from like 9 to 9, and I had like a 4-hour gap. That 4-hour gap, it's like, do I sit and get work done, or do I go to my buddy who's got an apartment and get obliterated? And 9 times out of 10, that was the choice. I'm going to go over here and get drunk and party because that's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up failing out my third semester, and I was kind of like pushed into like a mode. And I'm like really miserable at this point. Like my dream's been shattered. My whole world's rocked. So I ended up going to a festival after probably in May. And I took entirely too much LSD, and I ended up losing my noodle like completely. I got butt naked at this festival, and my buddy ended up having to bring me home.
You went into any kind of like psychosis?
Well, there was a big sheet of LSD with probably 1,000 hits, and I was already inebriated, and I put my tongue on the corner of it, and I kind of realized what I did, and everybody's looking at me weird. And about 10 minutes go by, and like I'm gone. Like I can't formulate sentences, and like I'm questioning my whole existence, and I don't even want to be alive. So like I ended up getting asked to leave the festival. My buddy's bringing me home, and I stripped naked, and yeah, it's crazy. I ended up jumping out of the car when we got to my neighborhood where we're going to a safe place at my friend's house, and I'm running up the street naked. And my father is bringing my little brother to his friend's house at the same time, and my little brother's like 11 at this point, and like I kind of had a moment of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like I'm really like, it was like, oh, this is real. Like I'm not, like I'm really doing this, and my little brother is like bawling. My dad is freaking out, and I wasn't right for like months after, dude. Like I really scarred my family from that, dude. Like I was talking all types of crazy stuff, and but yeah, so I spent like till the end of that summer kind of like recouping. I went on like this conspiracy bender. I was really fried, dude. I was
I've thought of some crazy off the wall stuff myself.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, you get so deep in your mind, plus added some substances to it that almost like justify you, to where you're thinking on a different realm than everybody else, and it makes you a lot more smarter.
I did, dude. I thought I was like, you guys just don't get it, dude. Like I took a high amount of LSD and saw things that aren't real, dude. I get it. And that was delusional as ever.
Well, I mean, I know it's just true. It's so true. So true.
Yeah. I mean, I can laugh about it now, but I'm sure my family's...
Yeah, probably still, but yeah, that is tough. But I mean...
It happens.
Where you are.
Yeah, it happened. Whatever. But so yeah, now I'm like entering the work. I'm doing the work thing. I'm selling phones for T-Mobile for a little bit, and then I end up leaving there and working at Ruby Tuesday, and I'm dating this girl. Things are fine, but I'm a scumbag. Like I'm cheating on her and not treating her very well. I'm running on. I'm still making poor decisions, but the substance hasn't like been super terrible. But yeah, so I end up, actually I'll get into this later, but I end up getting fronted some things that I could make money off of, and working at Ruby Tuesdays didn't seem seemed like the 9 to 5, like, no, I thought I could get like a lot of money and blah, 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 and that opened up a whole nother world. But Valentine's...
You're just going to make it big.
Yeah, I mean, and I had fun. Like,
yeah.
I've thought that, like, Jordans and having a car and having a little apartment and people that use me, whether it be women or people, thought, like, that was what would make me happy. But so I go over to what was my girlfriend's house at the time on Valentine's Day. I'm like, babe, what do you want? You want some more chocolate? She's like, stop buying me stuff. Just get over here. I'm like, is everything okay? She's like, just get here. She has my laptop open with a message from my first child's mother, who I had cheated on her with, and come to find out that she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. So my whole world is like rocked upside down. I'm 20 years old, and I'm about to have a kid. I'm like, I'm not ready for this. So I went like balls to the wall, a lot of cocaine, a lot of ecstasy, and I ended up getting my house raided. So my whole like life is in shame. It's unmanageable. Like at this point, it's unmanageable, but I'm not seeing it because, yeah, I do a little bit of drugs, but I'm not using needles, that's how I was justifying it.
Been there too, myself.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, it was that little separation. Although, hindsight 2020. But yeah, so I ended up.
Hindsight 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I look back now like, dude, you're an idiot. Like you were completely lying to yourself, but. I mean, I'm the number one buyer of Mount BS, so. Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah.
At certain points.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But, so I ended up moving houses, and, September comes around, and I get a call that my child's mother's going into labor. So my family doesn't know yet. And, so I go to the hospital. My daughter's born September 30th, 2012. The day that my daughter is born, my buddy picks me up. I still haven't told anybody. And he's like, let's go to Burger King, get you some food. You rest up. You've had a long, long day. I'm like, yeah. So somebody we had issues with ends up surrounding our car. They work for DPW, and they surround our car like 3 trucks deep. I'm not ready.
It's like the union guys got together and
I don't. They must have seen my car, and they had a major issue with one of my buddies, and I'm there in the crossfire. So I'm like, all right. And then I see 2 more trucks pull up. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get beat up. I'm gonna get beat up.
She's like, I'm gonna have to participate in this.
Yeah, that's where I was at. I was like, well, I'm not gonna just like, here it is.
Yeah.
So I get out. I grab a golf club. My buddy has a golf club, but there's like 9 of them. One of the guys hits me in the head, and I ended up like hitting him across the face with a golf club pretty bad. Like, like fractured.
With the face of the golf club?
Yeah, like the head of the golf club. He
Wow.
hit me, and I just came through, and I hit him right in his eye, and I was trying to protect myself, and they end up jumping me, and I get away, but I leave my car at the scene. They try to save their own tail and call the police, and so I end up getting another assault with a deadly weapon charge. This time I'm 21 years old at this point.
So had the one when you were like 15, right? Did that one go away because you're a juvenile?
Correct.
So, but this one is your how old?
I'm 20. I just turned 21.
This you're an adult.
Yeah, like I'm facing time.
Yeah.
Like if I am found guilty of this, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
But I knew I wasn't guilty. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like, maybe I was involved with the wrong things, but like I didn't initiate any of this. Yeah. But, they called the cops, so the charges were filed. They're DPW workers. They shouldn't be engaging with civilians. There was camera footage. So the charges...
What's DPW workers?
Department of... They're city workers, Syracuse.
So they can't be what do you mean they can't be engaging with the civilians?
Like, why are they physically engaged with civilians?
Right.
There's 9 of them. Why are they getting in a physical altercation with 3 civilians?
Right.
While they're supposed to be taking out people's garbage. So, you know what I mean?
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So, that ended up getting dropped. But at that time, I finally told my mother that, hey, you know the neighbor's child you've been babysitting? Yeah, that's your granddaughter. Oh, by the way, I also have a warrant out for my arrest for an assault.
You dropped this on your mom?
Oh, yeah, because my mom had to bail me out of jail.
But she didn't know that was her granddaughter. That was your child.
No, not for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
She's babysitting her granddaughter.
How was that? What was that like? What was her reaction to that?
Man, I was bawling. I was so afraid to tell her because of what her reaction would be. But she was about as supportive as, you know, my mother's always been there for me. Like, yeah, she was like a little taken back because she's got to process her own stuff with it. But my mother has rode with me since day one, and she was nothing but supportive. I'm so grateful for that. Like, I got a dope family, for real.
Nice.
But it was tough, and I was still, so I continue on. So those charges end up getting dropped later down the road, but I can't live at home. Like, I'm not ready to, I still want to, like, sell drugs and, like, just live quickly, and I want to do things that I can't do at my parents' house. I'm not ready to accept responsibility. So I go home 3 days a week, spend time with my daughter, go back to my house, and continue to live a certain way. Things are going not good, but I have things. I have material things, which are, like, patching me together. And my house ends up getting raided again illegally. They end up killing our dog. And, like, that was the last string. I'm like...
It sounds like a terrible movie.
Yeah, it was awful. It was in the paper and everything. Like, the neighbor called the cops because he said there was a burglar coming in the house. It was two people that come in to hang out. He didn't care for us too much, and rightfully so. But so they entered our house with a canine, and the canine latched on our dog. It was like a whole scuffle, but long story short, the cop ended up killing our dog. If you Google 608 Carbon Street, Syracuse dog, you'll see the article of what happened. But yeah, that happened. I was like, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm so good. I want to get out of here. So opportunity comes up. I don't want to live how I'm living. So I go to Delaware, and that's cool.
Here's the Delaware.
The Delaware. Yeah. I was like, what's in Delaware? I'm like, it's gotta be better than here. And I'm going to have some peace of mind. It's the first time of like, I got to get out of here. If I change my location, then I'm going to be okay. So I go there, and everything's pretty good for like 9 months. I'm not doing drugs. I mean, I'm smoking pot and, you know, occasion go out and grab drinks or whatever. But, you know, I'm paying child support. I'm paying rent. Life is pretty good. But the people I was living with wanted to move to San Jose, and I just wasn't ready to make
California.
Yeah, I really wanted to. I thought it was a good opportunity. But I wasn't willing to be that far away from home. You know, a 4-hour drive versus like a 3-day drive is. Yeah. So I went back home and got right back into what I was doing. I was intending on still working for the company. I did that for like 3 weeks, and I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, you know. So I ended up starting to do what I was doing before. Again. Yeah, I was doing my thing again, and within a week of being home, I had gotten robbed and went to go avenge myself, and I was.
Oh, you was gonna come get it back.
I was gonna do something.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, well, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I'm sure you can use your imagination. But we ended up seeing somebody that my buddy had a friend with, and we're heavily intoxicated. And he gets out and he pulls him out the car, and me being stupid, I jump out with him, and you know, we hurt the dude pretty bad. Now this time it's like, and we get arrested on spot because we don't leave the scene. We're like continuing and not leaving, and we get arrested. And this is like the first time that I'm like, okay, I'm actually going to do time over this. Like, I'm going to, you know, reap the repercussions of my actions, because I was wrong. I was like, what I did was actually, I felt like it was bad. So I get charged with that, and that leads to like just, you know, I have to go through the whole court process. Fortunately, it was he said, she said. We weren't on camera, so the charges ended up getting dropped.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
I got really
You've gotten a few chances at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of where you could be legally, if someone sees it a different way or they decide to go through with it, it could be a completely different story.
Yeah, yeah. And
you could call that something if you wanted to.
It's something. I feel terrible for my family because they paid the majority of my legal fees too. You know, the last one I footed most of it, but they've paid a lot of money for me to stay out of trouble. And I've been dealt a good hand of cards. But so continue on. I meet this girl who, you know, I kind of was looking for that Bonnie and Clyde type thing. I'm still like living a certain way, and I was really attracted to this girl, so on and so forth. We just didn't work. We weren't good for each other. I'll just say that. And then, so, you know, we break up, and a month later she tells me she's pregnant. I'm like, oh. This is my second kid's mother. Your second. So she tells me I'm pregnant, but I still we're still not good for each other. Mm-hmm. And I gotta, like, I'm still being a child. I'm not ready for, I'm like, I'm going through it. I'm like, this is a lot to deal with. So, yeah. So, but along the lines, about like 4 months later, I end up meeting another girl. And
Tommy, you love the women.
You
were so just being honest, would you call your I can't you all yeah
go ahead.
Would you call your, and I was gonna go somewhere else, would you call yourself a womanizer at all at some point in your life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, it filled my ego. I would use it as notches on the belt. You know, and I don't think I was like, you know, I don't think that I was like, yeah, blah, 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 like verbally disrespectful to most of them, but I did use them as like notches on the belt to make myself feel better, because I don't like myself. And
do anything to run from it.
Yeah, I was definitely verbally abusive to her. She, you know, we both did things to each other that it just wasn't good. But now I'm in the total opposite end of the spectrum, and so I'm looking for the good girl, you know, the good, this good girl's gonna fix me. She's gonna save me.
What does the good girl look like? I mean, what were you thinking at this time? Like, oh, this is the God-fearing, family-loving, church on Sundays, choir on the Wednesday, cooks dinner. I mean, am I even? I mean,
no, you're literally like spot on. Like good Christian family. She's never smoked pot. Like, she's a good girl,
right?
And
she's gonna save you.
Yes, that's what I thought. And so I'm working at Sprint now. I had another revelation. I need to live good and honest now, especially for the good girl, right? But along the way, my buddy had gotten out of jail, and he sold dope, heroin. That's what we call it. We call it dope back home, dope, whatever. He sold heroin, and we went to Taste of Syracuse. I'm like, let me cop a bundle, which is 10 bag. I know it's sold different everywhere. Let me get a bundle. And I got high. I got real high. It was fun. You know, no scratching. We went, ate some food. It was good. Like, I hadn't done opiates in a while. But that, like, progressed to, like a couple times a month to, like, a few times a week to I'm doing it a lot, and I'm acting shady around it. Like, I'm doing trade-ins and, like, using my store credit to, like, give out people things for phones at Sprint so I could sell them on, like, Marketplace. I'm just being mad sketchy.
Right.
But I get an offer for a job in Philadelphia with the company I was with in Delaware. So I hopped on that. It was more money, and it was another, like, change my location. This is going to be good.
Yeah, people, places, and things, right?
Yeah.
People are so delusional about that, by the way.
Yes.
I mean, really.
No, seriously.
People are like, oh, man, if I can get them away from this spot, or this spot is the reason why.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's not, I mean, so untrue. Like, if you're trying to travel around the world right now and you're changing places to places and wondering why you still feel terrible and you're getting high, it's because it's not the solution.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to throw that as a side note to people out there listening, because a lot of people, their first direct thing that they're going to do is to remove someone from that spot. And don't get me wrong, it's probably a good idea to remove them from the spot to get them treatment or help, and that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that, like, if I rid this place from my life, then I'm good. It's that spot, right? Is that what you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I use that same mindset to get down to Austin, but fortunately for
but
me,
it was separation. I believe in separation. Don't get me wrong with that. I do. I think separation is important to a certain extent, but if you don't find solution within the separation, you're going to come back and do the same things. Or you'll do it wherever you're at. You'll find a way.
I will.
Drug addicts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're crafty people.
Yeah, true.
Little did I know, like, there was already a seed planted. So when I moved to Philadelphia, job's great. Got a little apartment. Philadelphia is a cool city. It's a huge city. Like, I thought I had it going on. My girlfriend at the time was coming to visit me, and I'm running away from the middle girlfriend. There's a lot going on, but in my head, like, I have it going on. Like, I'm here in Philadelphia. Everything's good. But along the way, my buddy who I had move in with me to run one of the sales teams, he found a guy with blues with, Roxy 30s, and we called him one day because, we were going to go get high and go knock on doors. And he's like, oh, I don't got blues, but I got diesel, I got dope. And he thought he was talking about weed. I'm like, wait, hold on, put me on the phone.
Yeah, let me talk.
Let me talk to this guy real quick. And we ended up getting a bundle, and I got high, and it just spiraled out of control. Like the same thing.
It keeps happening to you.
It gets worse though here. Like it's like I get dope sick for the first time. I'm only sniffing it, and like by like 4 or 5 months after that, like the office is shutting down because like there's people quit. Like everything's falling apart, and I'm spending all my rent money on heroin because, heroin. And then I move home. Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. So I lose everything. I move home, but I have a raging heroin problem. So I get a contract with another sales company and start doing that. My girlfriend is pregnant at this point, at the time. I have, the only relationship with any of the kids I have is with my daughter, and I'm on heroin. Yeah. So that's what
kind of father am I?
Yeah, not a good one.
I'm not showing up very, very well. I mean, it's the truth.
I mean, even now it's tough for me to even accept because I'm like all the way in Texas, and but I've come to accept.
Well, what does that relationship look like now with her? Is it like, I mean, emotionally for you? What is it?
So me and my daughter are good. Like we FaceTime throughout the week a couple times. Obviously, I'd like to be there more for her, but like I do have guilt around my 2 other children who have no father, pretty much. And that's something that I'll leave up to God, and hopefully, one day I'll be able to be there for them. Yeah. And they're young enough where, hopefully I can, be a part of their life. But I've come to accept that like I have to take care of myself right now and stay healthy because I'll die. Like I'm bad. And so I start shooting it up back home. I run the sales team in the ground, and I finally asked my parents for help. I told my boss at the time, I was like, dude, I'm shooting heroin and I need to go to rehab. Tell that to my parents. I go to my first treatment. So the girlfriend's still with me. She's pregnant. And I finally am like, all right, I'm done. So I thought. And I went to like a little 30-day treatment center up in Syracuse called Tully Hill. Great place. Like it's not bad for a 30-day treatment, but I needed more, and it wasn't enough time for me to like really get well. So I ended up drinking again and then shooting dope. And I won't get into all the details, but like the next 7 months was, me getting clean for a few weeks, getting on subs, selling my subs, shooting speedballs, getting clean, overdose, like literally. Yeah. So I probably overdosed from 6 times where I actually had to be Narcan and brought to the hospital.
So what's your mom thinking about this and this? Like, what's your communication with her like? And what is she saying to you during this time? I mean, it's like, it's always interesting to see the side of the family because they're sitting here in the middle of the struggle with you, if not worse. And, and that shame and guilt is on them just as much as it is on the user. So my mom was trying her best. I mean, it would be periods of just trying to hold it together. Like, all right, Tom, we're going to take you, get on subs if that's what we got to do. You're going to start going to meetings again. She's pushing me in the right direction, but I'm just not. I'm not there. I want to get high still, and I don't even really want to live. So if I'm going to live, I'm going to get high. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like in my head, I'm a deadbeat dad. I can't keep a job. I'm telling these things to myself where it's like, why I shouldn't be alive, dude. I can't do this life thing. And if I am, then this is the only way I can cope. Yeah, I'm going to go out with a needle in my neck and not feel anything. Yeah. And it's sad to say that I was at that point, but that's just where I was at. So everything was getting pieced together. My buddy detoxed me in September after a pretty gnarly run, feeding me Suboxone and gabapentin and sleeping on an air mattress, and it worked. I got off the dope, but I started drinking heavy again. And I ended up getting a job at T-Mobile and moving back home, and I was on subs. And me and my buddy, who I grew up with, who's one of us, we looked at each other like, yo, let's go to the mall. I'm like, all right. And we passed the mall exit. I knew where we were going. You're like, oh, we ain't going to the mall. Yeah, but I was so happy about it. I was like, yes, we're going to get high. I didn't necessarily do it, right? Yeah. All right, it's his, but I mean,
it's just, I didn't want to be the one to say like, dude, let's go get some dope.
Yeah, but since you are, I mean,
I don't know. We'll just sniff a couple bags and go walk around the mall. We sniffed 2 bags each, and we both look at each other like, no, we're going to CVS.
Y'all never went to the mall.
No, we did.
Oh, you did?
We did for about 10 minutes, and we're like, no, let's go get needles. And that started a terrible run.
Yeah.
Like, I sold my family's Christmas presents. I had to rebuy them and pick them up on Christmas morning. Like, my mother's crying. So I get high through the New Year. I spent New Year smoking crack and just like riding around with a buddy. And I had another overdose probably January 2nd or 3rd. Mm. And the person who revived me was the person who revived me my first overdose when I was visiting home from Philly. He's like, I thought about you this past year. Like, you seem like an okay guy. You just can't get it together. What do you think about going to Austin, Texas?
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, that sounds amazing. Like, I'm down. He's like, well, let me not, guarantee anything, but there's a program that I might be able to get you in to get you some help. So,
what's that guy's name? Do you know his name? Remember his name?
Dr. Sullivan. Dr. Sullivan.
Shout out Dr. Sullivan.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He was a bridgeway for me to meet Darlene, which is a separate incident.
It's like, man, like, I'm not saying that God wasn't there the whole time, but he sure did enter the picture at that point in your life through that guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, really.
No, serious. And I was ready at that point, too. Like, I just didn't have the answers, JT. Like, I wanted to be happy, and I knew I was worth more than what I was doing, but I didn't know what to do, man. Yeah. And he presented me with that, but I needed to get off the streets ASAP because I was going to die. He's talking to me after an overdose. So I go to a place called Conifer Park, a little state-ran place in upstate New York. It's a dump. Like, it's an old tuberculosis hospital. I was just buying time.
Tuberculosis?
No, seriously.
Oh, was?
Yeah, no.
I thought that you were using that. Okay.
No, seriously was.
Wow.
So they're trying to get me to go to a halfway house in Syracuse. Like, my counselor was like saying, like, you need to be there for your kids. And my parents are like, she's telling me that my advocate was not wanting me to go to Texas. She's like, you can get sober anywhere, which is true. But I was pretty adamant on coming to Austin. So I get out, and there's like a 2-week buffer, and I got to meet with a gentleman named Tom Murphy, and he interviews me and advocates on my behalf to find out I'm a good candidate. And the next thing I know, I think within a week, I was sent down here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so. Where did you meet Darlene and all that? Because you're talking about the road to recovery.
Yeah.
Where did you meet? Did you talk with her? Did you know Justin, her son?
So me and Justin have some similar friends. Like my buddy who I was getting high with when we were going to go to the mall was actually in IOP with Justin. He worked with a few of my friends at a bar back home. So I knew of him, but we weren't like super close.
Wow.
But I didn't end up meeting Darlene until after.
Okay.
She would send me cards and stuff, and I would.
Yeah, she did that with everybody that y'all came in and out. I was just like always astounded.
She's amazing, dude.
Yeah,
she's a real life angel on earth. Like help save my life. Like forever grateful and in debt to her.
And I'm gonna for y'all who's watching on Facebook Live, I'm gonna go ahead and put their link back up on the screen. And that's www.road2recovery.cny.com.
Yeah.
And the Indies, it started, correct me if I'm wrong, their son came down to Austin, and through his own like sobriety as well, like recovery, have started a foundation to help other people find treatment. Treatment. Let's just be very real here. Treatment is expensive. It is not cheap to get quality treatment, and that's one thing I would love to advocate for at some point is like, hey man, how do we make this more of a transparent industry and help people like to get very quality treatment? Because I think the place that we went was very quality treatment.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I think you would agree, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So like they help people to get out here and to come through this process, which is very, very neat. So
yeah.
If you have a chance, go check out their website, send them some love. You can actually donate to Road to Recovery CNY, correct? Like they take donations?
Yeah, well, it's all based off donations, so without everyone's help, it's hard for us to get people down here. And they do different charity events back home, different fundraisers, a lot of cool things they do from, concerts and stuff. And the website's going to have all that information on there. So if you want to be a part of All the contact info is on the website, or you can look them up on Facebook at Road Number 2 Recovery CNY and get all the information there.
Nice. Yeah. So that's so you came down, and of course we went through the same process together, and I mean that we went through the same program that you went through the same program that I did, and whatever. Yeah, I don't know how I want to. I get what you're saying. That just went everywhere, but we go through the same program, and we look up, and how much sobriety time do you have at this point, Tommy?
I just have over 18 months.
18 months. You picked up that chip not too long ago.
Oh yeah.
Proud of you now, and that's cool, man. And it means a lot, right? It's almost like. Did those time slots come up? Because it was hard to get 30 days of sobriety at one point, a day. Like that was impossible, right, for you. And so you've been able to do that. And what is it? Explain to me. I'm glad we have a little bit of time here with the solution part of this, because this is important. Yeah. And one, like, what do you think of Austin? What do you think of the fellowship? And like, how is that in your life today? And how does it play a role in your recovery? And
yeah,
just kind of touch on that.
So, like, I think the place I was at when I got to Austin was good, because I knew I didn't know how to stay sober, and I've seen the 12 steps work in other people's lives back home. So I knew there was something to it, and I always had believed in God. I just kind of thought he played favorites, or I just thought I wasn't good at life. So, like, I was willing to do the work, and I had people before me to show me how to do it. And then, like, the God piece was something that kind of I can't explain. I don't really want to explain it.
Yeah.
I think most people agree, like, if I can explain it, it's not big enough. And,
right.
So that's a huge piece, but I don't know, just I have a lot of good guys around me, including you and guys like Christian and Joe. Yeah. And I can continue to name people, Gundy, and that hold me accountable and have my best interests. They're not pushing me to do things, but the city of Austin itself has such a good recovery scene that it's easy to submerge yourself into it, where you got to find the pockets and other places. So I just think it's a perfect storm. I tried to do my part, but man, the man upstairs is good, man.
His direction is pretty good, right?
It's good. I can't complain, and it's amazing. Like, I pinch myself, man. Like, life, I still have things that I need to get done and wrongs I need to right, but like where I'm at right now compared to a year and a half ago is you know what I'm saying?
It's a big deal. It's a big difference.
It's crazy.
I kind of wish we had those. We could all have like our intake picture at some point. I'm sure we all have some photos, but the change that takes place physically is great. But if you were to, spend time or have an experience with someone who's in addiction, and then look up, and if they're doing the things they should be doing, and they're following the program, and they've had this experience with God on their part, right, or what, then the internal change will get you, because that person is so completely different. They've overgone like some kind of complete psychic change. Yeah. Things look a lot different for them. Their values and stuff that they hold like, dear to their hearts. It's different talking to them. Yeah. And like, we work in treatment, and we see some people get that, some people don't. I mean, right? The reality is not everybody will. The reality is there's a slim. The numbers aren't good if you look at numbers. Yeah. God is so much bigger than numbers. Don't get me wrong on that. But the truth is just like, we're fighting a battle. Right? We're fighting something that's, man, it's powerful. It's very powerful. And if anything, in my opinion, can come in and separate you from understanding that there's something greater than you out there, you're shot. Like, you don't have a very good chance, right? But how do you like working in treatment? How is that for you?
I love it. Like, when I wake up and go to work, I don't really feel like I'm going to work. And, like, I do it because it's cool to see a guy come in on day one, like, just broken down. And given my experience of what I went through, me be able to be a part of that process and see him on day 90, 120, whatever it may be, and see him be a completely different person. And watch them get their color back, and that, like, that's the cool part about it. And I feel like a useful the useful tool of God to be like, hey dude, like, I get it. I used to put needles in my neck. Like, I've been through what you've been through. Let me help, and it's cool to be a part of that. And I like working with you.
We have a good time.
It's fun. We have some cool coworkers too.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Seeing the light come on for kids is great, and then, dude, like, just having sometimes from some of the first very genuine conversations they've ever had, and trying to live, like, hopefully being that part of the like attractiveness of the program to some people. It feels good too. It does. Like, I mean, because without seeing people out here doing this thing, then there's no way I'm going to look at someone and be like, man, I want what they got. I'm going to do what they did. And I want to be sober and life looks pretty good. Yeah. Right. So like there is some responsibility there as well to be a light for other people and to understand that. Like, I think people get this thing in their head, like, man, recovery people, they're boring. Because like, they're boring people and like, oh, I got to be this straight laced, tuck my shirt in, wearing, creased up slacks or khakis and a Sperry. I don't know, but it's not like that at all.
No, dude, I'm twisted. Like, yeah, I may not do drugs or drink anymore, but like, I at times can be a little off the beam, and I just think that's like, I mean, you don't have to change who you are just to get connected. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the beauty of it. It's just like, I just don't put needles in my arms or drink alcohol. I'm still the same goofy, like, loving person that I am before. I'm not a robot, and I don't think you have to be to really participate in recovery at a high level.
Yeah. What do you think? What's your take on living life with principle in your life versus not having it before?
I think it's for me, it's a work in progress.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I make mistakes daily.
All of us do.
Like, I'm not perfect. Like, I struggle with areas like gambling was an area I had to work on. My relationships with how I treat women, like, there's things that I need to constantly remind myself that, like, that I'm trying to live with principles, because I can slip up into that. But I think it's the fact that I have awareness around it, and that I have the ambition to change it and, admit when I'm wrong. But, none of us are perfect, and it's always a work.
Yeah, always. As long as we're, trying to do the next right thing, right? I know that sounds so cliche, but really it's like it is. Am I taking a step forward, or am I standing still or going backwards?
Yeah.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Give me an FIV real quick.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. I have a fear of never having a relationship with my two sons. I have an insecurity of my cross eyes and red hair, my eyes shake, and I used to get called ginger and fire crotch when I was younger. A vulnerability. I don't have a college degree, and I've never been good at school. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just threw that out there. Those are the best though, off the beam, right? Got off the head. Yeah. Right off the head, because those were that was nice. Those were good ones. Those were very quality.
Hey, those were dinner circle quality right there.
So they were better than that as of lately. But man, I think I might have to like start throwing that in on the show. Maybe it's a FIV pop up. I don't know.
Just at random points.
Yeah. Well, Tommy, dude, I want you to know, like, from my aspect from my perception of it, man, I've looked up to you for a long time. You have a thing about, like, there's always the people I've noticed I surround myself with. Everybody has something that I wish I had, like, with your charisma and your likability and stuff like that. It's people like you, and that's one of your gifts, right? Is people love being around you, me included. Always have a good time. It's always light, but we can be real. At the same time, and that's important, and that's cool because it keeps your soul young.
Yeah,
like, I'm not trying to get old and dusty with my soul. I mean, my skin and my age, and I might get up there, but, like, man, I want to be fruitful and young, spiritually, in terms of, and you're one of the people that helps me do that. So I really appreciate that, it's been cool going along this journey. You've seen me from ground zero to now, and I'm not saying that's a big progress or nothing like that, but it's been a long time.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been. So I appreciate you coming out here and sharing some your story and some hope with the people out there. You want to anything else you want to tell them? One more message of hope? Anything else you want to get across to them? It's your time to shine, man.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just want everybody to remember www.road2recoverycny.com. These people help save lives. If you or a loved one has trouble with drugs or alcohol, feel free to get a hold of JT at his email address, which is...
the email is JAY-WALKINGPODCAST@gmail.com. If you're watching on live, these are on the screen too.
And everybody from Syracuse, New York, back home, I love you guys. Everybody in Texas, I love you guys. And have a blessed day on my end.
And that's a wrap. Hey, guys, thank y'all for listening to episode 7. Again, thanks, Tommy, for coming out here. and we're going to put it into that one. We hope this was interesting. We did a lot of different things with it, especially with the live. So, but the content was great. And so we really appreciate it. So thanks for listening. Until next time, we'll see you then. Sweet. And we're still alive. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's still on the live end. We had to do all that. That was very formal.
Hey, my name's Bill.
You keep saying
my name's Bill.
Hey, I think let me look at some of these comments real quick. Christian Furr. Let me see. We just finished up taping the podcast actual episode that goes on iTunes. Remember, if you're watching, you can catch the full episode on iTunes or Spotify. JAY-WALKINGPODCAST is the link. You can follow us on Instagram at that @ symbol or the @ number down there. The www.roadtorecoverycny.com is a nonprofit organization that helps people to get into treatment from the Syracuse and the New York area. So check them out and help somebody get some treatment. It's like I said before, it's expensive and people need it. JaywalkerPodcast@gmail.com is up there. You can email us. I think Michael Nugness said something on here.
Oh boy,
he was like he wants you to give a freestyle to everybody out there listening.
Oh man,
he said with that serious voice. Christian Furr.
Yeah.
What do you think Christian's doing right now?
He's probably sitting on his bed with a Netflix in the background and watching this on his phone. Christian, if you're watching this.
Yeah. He's like, but Christian, what do you do? I'm writing inventory. But really, what are you doing, man? So Sam, hi. Hi. So Nuggets wanted you to rap for us on here.
I think that's actually my cousin, Mikey Negus. That's my little cousin.
Oh, okay. I see.
Time and place, Mikey.
Yeah.
Time and place. When I come home, I'll be home visiting next month. We can get a little cipher going. We can get it going.
Cool, man. You have some people on here. Who's Mark DeSocio?
That's my pops.
Okay.
That's my old man.
Probably say proud of you. I guess you've seen some of these that are come across. Leighton Holcomb. I love you, man. I love you, dude. Give me a call sometime. Lots of people that are joined in and watched a little bit of it. Michael Elliott, of course, always going to stay talking shit. I guess he probably wasn't on there. He's actually wanted to come.
Lane Rust, I see.
Joined it for a little bit. All right, guys. Thank y'all for watching. We're jagging around at this point, but the podcast is recorded. So we'll see y'all soon. Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to share this video. A lot of people need help, and there ain't no way they can get help without seeing some kind of content. Just because you don't struggle with addiction or you don't struggle with some kind of internal condition doesn't mean that other people don't. Stop being selfish. Hit that share button. See y'all later.